Penn Staters make a difference. We are one community impacting many. The best part of Penn State is our people. Our faculty, researchers, and students improve the lives of others. Our students graduate and evolve into alumni who find new solutions to our ever-changing needs. Tonight, we celebrate a small group of prominent young alumni. These 16 Penn Staters are making profound advancements in their chosen careers and in society. They are the recipients of the Penn State Alumni Association Alumni Achievement Awards.
Good evening. I'm Paul Clifford, CEO of the Penn State Alumni Association. It's my privilege to welcome you to this special event as we honor 16 alumni with the 2021 Penn State Alumni Achievement Award. The Alumni Achievement Award celebrates the university's accomplished young alumni who are 35 years old and younger. The award vividly demonstrates, particularly to students, that Penn State alumni can and do succeed in exceptional fashion at an early age. These high-achieving award winners show that it doesn't necessarily take a lifetime for Penn State alumni to make profound advancements in their chosen career and in society. The Alumni Achievement Award program is sponsored by the Alumni Association, authorized by Penn State's Board of Trustees, and supported by the academic colleges and campuses. This award is conferred as a permanent lifelong designation. These recipients have distinguished themselves through their professional accomplishments, and I'm inspired by their talents and passion. We honor and celebrate these alumni individually because we believe in our alumni collectively. By accepting this award, you give us the opportunity to share your stories and swell thy fame of dear old state in the process. Many people have come together tonight to recognize our honorees as we celebrate their impressive achievements. On behalf of the Alumni Association, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us, with special thanks to our recipients and their families and guests. I'd also like to thank Penn State students, faculty, and administrators, as well as our faithful alumni and volunteers for your continued support of dear old state. Tonight, we present each honoree with the Alumni Achievement Award, which is designed and fabricated by artist and alumni fellow Jeannie Stevens Solomon. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the 18th president of Penn State, Eric Barron. He has been leading our institution for 7 years, and he has been a strong voice for economic development, access and affordability, research, and other issues critical to higher education and the Commonwealth. He's a great supporter of the Penn State Alumni Association, and for that, we're truly grateful. Simply put, President Barron is a guy who loves Penn State. Penn Staters, please join me in welcoming Penn State President Eric Barron.
There is no greater satisfaction for a teacher, parent, or partner than seeing their graduate achieve success in their chosen field. Tonight, it's our pleasure to be with you to celebrate the remarkable achievements of Penn State alumni who've excelled in their work at an age when many young people are still on their parents' cell phone plan. How did they do it? John Paul Getty's recipe for success was rise early, work late, strike oil. John Steinbeck claimed the secret to getting ahead was to keep your eyes open and your mouth shut. And Jerry Seinfeld said, find the torture you're comfortable with and you'll do well. This evening, we'll hear how this extraordinary group of Penn Staters did. With more than 900,000 degrees conferred since Penn State's founding, you can imagine how many alumni have risen to prominence in a wide variety of fields and professions. But to distinguish yourself at such a young age is not only impressive, but noteworthy. This evening, it's with great pride that we collectively recognize the influence Penn State alumni have as leaders and innovators. I will provide a brief introduction to each honoree, and I encourage you to review the full and very impressive bios on the website. We will begin with Natasha Bonskopal, who has been called a pivotal force within the fintech industry and a thought leader and advocate for women's global leadership and entrepreneurship. Natasha earned her MBA from Smeal College of Business and is the co-founder and chief operating officer of Dark Matter, which is a global and award-winning financial technology company. She is also the chief operating officer of Constellation, which is focused on development and implementation of blockchain technology for the global financial services industry. For those not in the world of finance, blockchain technology is a system of recording information that makes it impossible to change, hack, or cheat the system. And based on the 172 million links on Google, it's a hot topic. But Natasha's success goes beyond her impressive intelligence, business abilities, and innovative mindset. As the nominator noted, she brings an abundance of positive energy to any team she joins. Congratulations, Natasha.
Hi, everyone. Thank you to the Penn State Alumni Association, the Smeal College of Business, and the broader Penn State community. If I were doing this in person, this would be right around where I yell, "We are," and try not to fall back into my tailgate behavior, but I digress. I am honored, humbled, surprised, thrilled, and just genuinely excited to be selected to receive this prestigious honor. When I received the call from Dean Whiteman in December 2019, I was beyond excited. I told my dad, he told everybody else. I got my invite list together, I got my outfit, and then bam, COVID-19 hit. Everything stopped. Time really felt like it stood still for a bit, as everyone really began to internalize what this meant for themselves, for their families, for their businesses, and really what it meant to adapt to a new normal. Though this is obviously the extreme end of the spectrum, that is how I felt when I first arrived on Penn State's campus. I grew up in Mount Vernon, New York. Shout out to the Westchester, the Bestchester. I did my undergrad at Binghamton University, upstate New York, which I thought was a large school until I stepped foot on Penn State's campus. Back in that time, in 2008-ish, that's where my standards for a new normal began. A huge campus with a student body that was larger than life, an alumni association that outranks many, and of course, leading academic rigor that provides students with real-world exposure. And yet at its core, there really is a passion and feeling of belonging to something that holds community close to its heart. That was a new normal that Penn State gave to me. With a community so large, everything just felt still very close and tight-knit. As a Buttonwaller Fellow, Penn State made an investment in me, took a risk on me, and in turn, really helped to shape my life and my career. Shout out to the Smeal admissions team, Carrie Marcinkovich, Robin Browse, and also Dr. Vernis Wellman and Jamie Campbell. As a fellow, I was provided with the opportunity to work with the Office of Diversity and Enhancement, particularly working with undergraduate students in business, specifically minorities and women in business students. I took this job very seriously, and I continued to exude my passion for women and minority talent development throughout my career. This quickly became my new normal. Dedicating time and resources to help bring others along and develop the next generation of business professionals. This is a fire that Penn State helped light for me. As a fintech leader who's also a Black woman, shout out to my West Indian parents, St. Lucia and Guyana, I'm honored to accept this award and represent my class and the Smeal College of Business as a 2020 Young Alumni Achievement Award recipient. Given we are recording this on International Women's Day, I find it especially fitting to shout out women who are on the path to their new normal, breaking barriers and glass ceilings along the way. Together, we will continue to make strides towards greatness and once again create a new normal where women continue to lead the charge. Thank you again. We are.
Next is Heather Bennett, who earned 3 Penn State degrees, a BA from the College of the Liberal Arts, a JD from Dickinson School of Law, and a PhD in education. Heather is the first Director of Equity Services in the Pennsylvania School Boards Association's 125-year history. Her work has been called groundbreaking, as she provides training, tools, and resources for greater equity in public education in Pennsylvania. Heather has worked on issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion throughout her career, using her expertise in law and educational policy to benefit society. Much to the delight of our students and faculty, Heather makes time to return to Penn State to share her experiences and valuable advice. Congratulations, Heather.
I am so grateful for this opportunity to receive this Alumni Achievement Award. This is an honor. I love Penn State. It is legitimately my academic home since all 3 of my degrees come from Penn State and expands multiple colleges and programs. My mom went here, and I remember her talking about how if she could go back in time in her life, she would go back to Penn State, where she received her teaching degree in mathematics. She ended up being a teacher in the Philadelphia School District for over 35 years. She raised me on blue and white. And when it came to the choice of my own university, it was Penn State that gave me my greatest honor, which was I was awarded the Buttonwaller Fellowship, where it's named after the first Black male and female graduate at Penn State. It was at Penn State where I was empowered by fantastic mentors and professors throughout my career who are either still here at Penn State or have retired, such as Assistant Dean Hank McCullum, Mr. Earl Merritt, Ms. Joyce Hobson King, Assistant Dean Maria Schmidt, and Dr. Erica Frankenberg, and so much more and many more who have advocated for me and instilled in me a heart and love for education, social justice, and equity. What makes this place so special is the people. It is the people who sow into the students every single day and make them believe that they are change makers. So I want to end thanking my mentors at Penn State, my friends who I met at the dorms, at the hub, at the sports events, and of course the classes at Penn State. But most of all, I want to say thank you to my mother, who instilled in me a passion for education, my father, who told me when I got my scholarship to Penn State that I better not mess this thing up. I hope I didn't mess it up, Dad. And my sister, who have always kept me laughing throughout. Thank you again for this wonderful honor. We are!
Our next honoree has been recognized as a Pennsylvania super lawyer's rising star and is known for his charismatic ability to bring groups of people together. Zach Eisen graduated from Penn State Law in 2012 and is an associate in mergers and acquisitions for the international law firm Jones Day. In his professional career, Zach has experienced tremendous success, yet he seems to have limitless time to serve others. Since Zach was a student at Penn State, he has been a vocal advocate on behalf of underrepresented students, including those who identify in the LGBTQ community. He has brought that awareness and advocacy to the field of law and is a member of the National LGBT Bar Association. His colleagues and friends marvel at how he finds time to make multi-billion-dollar transactions at work and still find time to volunteer and mentor students. Congratulations, Zach.
First, let me send a big thank you to President Barron, the selection committee, Dean Osofsky, and the rest of the faculty and administration of Penn State Law and the greater Penn State community. It's truly an honor to be recognized alongside this group of accomplished award recipients this year. I first came up to University Park almost 12 years ago as an admitted student to tour the law school and to see the university campus. Now, being born and raised in North Carolina, the first thing that struck me when I got on campus was it's 45 degrees outside. Why are people running around in shorts and t-shirts? Well, it took me a while, but I eventually learned that you should never pass up a sunny day in State College, especially on a home football game weekend, right? Anyhow, after that first visit, I knew that Penn State would be the place for me, and I sent in my deposit later that day. Now, every day that I wake up since then and go to work, I'm reminded that I made the right decision. Penn State, and in my case, Penn State Law, truly gives you the tools for success and then challenges you to take them and start building your career. For me, that's been a challenging but exciting career in mergers and acquisitions, which is something I never thought I would ever do the first day I stepped on campus. For others being honored tonight, that's meant budding careers in education, engineering, business, medicine, and the law, just to name a few. For those current students tuning in out there, I hope you'll also grab the tools that this great university has given you. And I'll look forward to watching you accept this award in the not too distant future. Thank you again. And I wish you all a happy and healthy 2021. We are.
Our next honoree is Allison Cleary, who earned her MD, PhD at the College of Medicine and recently completed a fellowship at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. While Allison was still a medical student, her pioneering breast cancer research was featured on the cover of the journal Nature, one of the most prestigious scientific journals in the world. Her work has provided valuable insights into a rare and complex type of breast cancer and will inevitably improve outcomes for patients. One of her nominators called her gifted with more innate curiosity than anyone else I know. She was also described as fearless, articulate, and a generous collaborator with a sense of humor that brightens the workday. Allison has risen to prominence for her expertise early in her career, and she has been recognized numerous times for research and academic excellence. She is also an avid volunteer, role model, and prolific writer. Congratulations, Allison.
I feel so incredibly honored and humbled to be recognized today among this group of such accomplished and inspiring individuals. I want to say thank you to the Alumni Association, to President Barron and Dean Black for considering me and giving me such a wonderful opportunity to come back here among friends, even if it does have to be virtually this time. Thank you so much to Ed Gunther, my PhD advisor, for being and continuing to be such an outstanding mentor and friend. Thanks also to the rest of the members of the Gunther Lab family, especially Travis Leonard and Shelley Gestel. Thank you to Bob Levinson, Leslie Parent, and Diane Thibotot, as well as the rest of the MD PhD training program, first for taking a chance on me, and then for supporting me and seeing me through my almost decade-long journey of becoming a physician scientist. And finally, of course, a huge thank you to all of my amazing family and friends who have always supported and encouraged me and who continue to inspire me each and every day. Between med school and grad school, I spent 9 years at Penn State, and I can honestly say they were among the best of my life. I grew up here, I became a doctor and a scientist here, and I made incredible lifelong friends along the way. I honestly wouldn't trade my time at Penn State for anything in the world, and I feel so fortunate to continue to be part of this Penn State family. Thank you again so much for this incredible honor. I can't begin to tell you how much it means to me. We are.
How do you ask tough questions to Ben Roethlisberger, Saquon Barkley, and the mixed martial artist Daniel Cormier? You'll need to ask our next honoree to find out. As an ESPN writer, Hallie Grossman has one of the most coveted jobs in sports reporting. Although younger than many of the more accomplished and recognized senior writers at ESPN, Hallie has quickly risen through the ranks and is highly regarded for her thorough, insightful feature writing. Her clout is evidenced by the fact that she was one of only 150 individuals asked to serve on a blue ribbon panel assisting with ESPN's year-long project to commemorate the 150th anniversary of college football. Hallie's nominators described her as a pitball reporter who handles her responsibilities with grace and professionalism. Another said, Hallie is a shining example of the type of student that the College of Liberal Arts seeks to nurture, one who looks beyond their profession, discipline, and grows into a person who can imagine creatively, act ethically, communicate articulately, and perceive globally. Congratulations, Hallie.
Hi, welcome to my living room. I don't quite have the Penn State Woman Cave I've always dreamed of having, but I hope everyone can note the Penn State art behind me and a couple slightly worse for the wear Penn State dog toys. As a general rule, I always wish I could be at Penn State, and that is especially true today. I am so happy and honored to be recognized at the Penn State Alumni Association because, as anyone who knows me even a little bit will attest, I am a Penn Stater through and through. Back in college, my best friend came up with a game where she assigned stores that best fit each of our friends' personalities. So one person could be J. Crew, and another person could be the Gap. I was the Family Clothesline, the Penn State merchandise store. And lest anyone think that allegiance was tempered post-college, one of my colleagues at ESPN told me one time that he had calculated that I love Penn State more than anybody he's ever met loves anything, period. And we actually have a hallway on ESPN's campus where you can play your alma mater's fight song over the loudspeakers. And one day when I was walking through, an older man across the way actually put on Virginia Tech's fight song. And I thought, you know what? I want to hear Penn State's. So I changed it, only to realize once he passed me that older man was Virginia Tech head coach Frank Muir. So I feel extremely lucky to be recognized by a place I hold so dear. I have loved Penn State for as long as I can remember. My parents met at Penn State. My brother followed me there. For those old enough to remember, we used to have lunch on Tuesdays and Thursdays at Jogie's in the Hub. And one of my earliest memories, as I've actually written about before, is my parents' frantic pacing during a Penn State Notre Dame game in the early 90s. So my point is, Penn State has been this special unifying presence in my life for all my life. What I didn't know until much later on, though, was that it would be this special unifying presence in my life in ways that extended way beyond my Penn State obsessed family. So in my time at ESPN, I have been edited by two former Penn Staters. And as a writer, my work has been fact-checked by a fellow Penn State alum. So we are literally everywhere. And I'm so grateful to the university for being a bridge that helped me get to my dream job at ESPN, and then helped me connect with so many others over a shared experience once I got there. And it really is a dream job. My editors let me write a profile story on Saquon Barkley, and I got the chance to interview James Franklin for work. So I feel so lucky every day. But it is a job that pushes me out of my comfort zone. I am an introvert who has to talk to strangers for a living. And it challenges me, somewhat ironically, I guess. I am deeply uncomfortable with putting my work out into the wild. And so I sort of have to go like this every time one of my stories lands on ESPN.com. But I learned that I could do all that, push myself and challenge myself at Penn State, in the College of Liberal Arts, and at the Daily Collegian. I sort of zigged and I zagged as a student. I was a major in political science and Spanish. I was one of the few reporters on the Daily Collegian who wasn't also in the College of Communications. But what I learned from all that is that you don't need to have one straight road to get to where you want to be. Speaking of the Daily Collegian, when I was out there reporting one of my very first stories for the newspaper, I called my mom, just absolutely sure I couldn't do it. And she told me it's okay to fake it until you make it. So I just want to say thank you, Mom. Even when I'm faking it, which I still feel like I'm doing most of the time, I know that you are my number one fan. Thank you to my dad and my brother who made me into the sportsman I am. It's why I chose the life path I did. And thank you to my husband, Ross, who has to live with me when I am writing, which is a real nightmare. Ross, you already know this, but I couldn't do any of this without you on my team and on my side. And thank you, of course, to the Penn State Alumni Association. I wouldn't be who I am or where I am without Penn State. We are.
Going home is a road paved with pitfalls. The first one is what you are led to expect by memory, the second by what others tell you. Almost everybody says you'll never know the place. Of course you will. To be sure, Penn State is larger than it was, but you'll still find things recognizable at the center. The problem is finding the center. You might be put off by a few changes. You will be a trifle dislocated at times. The only real danger is expecting it to be the same. There are tennis courts and dormitories and strange faces everywhere, and no one will know you, for a while anyhow. The buildings they call old this and old that were once new to you, or weren't even there when you were around. But Old Main still stands regally in the midst of it all. Everything isn't as changed and modern as they'd like to think. The farmers' high school spirits the neighborhood. An inevitable amount of foolishness and pomposity and grandiose nonsense still issues forth. Though handsome Route 80 is open all the way from the east, and turnpikes and highways from other directions are engineering wonders, the valley remains equally inaccessible from all points. But that valley is also a uniquely favored, pleasant, often breathtakingly lovely place. The mall runs up from College Avenue, leaving its hamburgers and sweatshirts behind, to the dignified library. Schwab is off to your right, and over its shoulder the bell sounds the hours. Though most of Hortwoods is gone, you can walk many of the walks you used when you were there. The streets bear the same names, run out to the same places, to nowhere and everywhere. Leaves fall, and rain and snow ices and etches the campus as if to freeze it forever, though it is so only in your mind. For you were there when the place was young, or younger, and so were you. That's part of the dreamlike quality. It's always young at Penn State. You feel it in your blood, in the sniff of earth, of electrical dynamos and pungent chem labs and dairy barns. Couples stroll the paths, and if you look quickly, you may see yourself in silhouette. They are walking, talking or not talking, wondering what life has in store, not knowing that life is underway, that the relationships and ideas they are forming are the ones likely to last a lifetime. Yes, there is niceness about the place, in a bowl of mountains under a sky and an occasional freshening wind, a place that everyone is glad to get to, glad to get away from, and can never leave entirely or recapture. You can go home again, and if you do, let it go to your head. You did once.
Our next honoree, Moises Hernandez, has a gift to bring others together, no matter the borders, the distance, or culture. Moises is Senior Legal Counsel at TC Energy Mexico. In this role, he works with hundreds of international subcontracting vendors navigating laws in Mexico and around the world. He's been called upon to advise Mexican House and Senate Energy Committees, educate his U.S., Canadian, and Latin American counterparts on Mexican energy laws and regulations, and more recently, to become involved in arbitration matters. Moises was also named as one of the Latin America's top lawyers by the Latin American Lawyer. He earned a degree in comparative law from Penn State Law and has been an enthusiastic ambassador for Penn State in Mexico and around the world. Congratulations, Moises.
The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Martin Luther King Jr., honorable members of the Penn State Alumni Association, friends and family. It is a great honor to receive the Alumni Achievement Award this evening. There are no words to express my gratitude to the Penn State community. I will always be grateful for making my time in Happy Valley so enjoyable. I would like to take advantage of this opportunity to thank all the people that encouraged me to pursue my dreams. First of all, I thank my parents for all sacrifices they made to give me better opportunities, as well as my siblings for leading by example and showing me that doing things as best as you can always pays. Thank my lovely wife for being my support and motor to keep going. She always has the word of comfort and reassurance when I needed them most. I thank my aunts, cousins, and friends who have always been there to encourage me in everything I've done. I thank all the extraordinary mentors that I have had the fortune to find in my way. Of course, to football, not soccer. My coaches and teammates at Raiders Mexico that helped me to strengthen my character. Notably, besides academic prestige, my decision to opt for Penn State Law School was largely driven by the university's long-standing football culture. I thank Penn State Law School faculty for sharing their invaluable knowledge throughout my academic training, for introducing me to friends from all over the world that have become my family. My sincere gratitude goes to Dean Steve Barnes for believing in me right from the start. I thank Dean Hayasovsky and Isa for keeping the doors open so more Latinos like me get the chance to experience the American dream. I will never forget my first day of classes at Katz Building, my visit to the Supreme Court with Professor Lara Fowler, the endless thoughts at my favorite pickles, and my first game at Beaver Stadium. I will cherish those memories for the rest of my life. Thank you, Penn State, for making me stronger, fearless, and braver. Muchas gracias. Este reconocimiento es de todos ustedes. We are.
Our next recipient turned the personal trauma of sexual abuse at age 14 by her gymnastics coach into a life of advocacy and help for others. I'm pleased to introduce Courtney Keel. Courtney began her life's work as a teenager when she started the nonprofit Abused Children Heard Everywhere to let victims know they are not alone. She came to Penn State to attend law school, where she interned in the family law clinic and worked with some of the most vulnerable domestic abuse clients. After graduation, she joined Paul Mohn's PC, where she represents adults who experience sexual abuse as children. Courtney has been hailed for her remarkable work ethic, blue streak intelligence, and perhaps more importantly, an unparalleled level of compassion and empathy. In the words of her nominator, she is a gem. Congratulations, Courtney.
Good evening. I'm honored to accept this award and want to start by thanking the Penn State Alumni Association for selecting me, and also to Dean Osofsky and everyone at the law school for the nomination. I've been blessed with an incredible support system who I'd also like to extend a heartfelt thank you to today, including my husband, family, friends, and the most amazing parents who have stood by my side every step of my career. When I was 14 and had just come forward about the sexual abuse I experienced at the hands of my coach, I told my parents I wanted to become an advocate, start sharing my story far and wide, with the hope that it would help others. I had the confidence to do that because of them. The older I get, the more amazed and grateful I am for their unwavering support. I came to Penn State in 2012, ready to start my legal journey following 8 years of advocacy work in the field of sexual violence with an emphasis on child sexual abuse. I didn't know what my career would look like, but I came to Penn State with the hope of finding others focused on similar issues who I could learn from and work with. Thankfully, I was able to do just this. Of all places, I was privileged to meet one of my mentors and dear friends, Dean Jill Engel, in a yoga class in downtown State College. Over the next several years, as a student and later as a fellow in the family law clinic, Dean Engel worked with me to develop my professional identity as a lawyer, helping me to see how my experience as a survivor was an asset that I could use to better serve my clients. Through Dean Engel, I had the privilege of meeting another mentor and dear friend, Dr. Rosemary Jolly. Over the last few years, my continued work with Dr. Jolly has taken me to South Africa and Argentina, where we offered an art-based prevention and treatment program to survivors of sexual violence. Dean Engel and Dr. Jolly have both spent their careers doing very important work, and it's been an honor to learn from them. Even with all of their experience, from the beginning, these two women have lifted me up, provided me with incredible opportunities, and made sure that I know my value. I am 100% certain I would not be where I am today without them, and am eternally grateful to them for helping me make the most of my time at Penn State and for their continued support. Thank you again to the Alumni Association for this great honor. We are.
Our next honoree is Balaji Krishnaiah, a distinguished doctor in the field of neurology, where he is renowned for his work improving the lives of those with strokes and epilepsy. Balaji currently serves as Assistant Professor of Neurology and Associate Program Director of Neurology Residency at the University of Tennessee Health Science Center. Their stroke program is one of the busiest in the country, treating close to 3,000 patients every year. Balaji created a new telemedicine program to improve treatment outcomes. It has led to increased patient satisfaction and decreased healthcare cost, and it has alleviated the risk of the hospital from going to critical capacity. This is just one example of his inspirational and innovative approach to patient care. Balaji's nominators praised him for his patient advocacy, leadership, dedication, and flair for teaching, all qualities that were apparent when he served as a resident at Penn State Health. Congratulations, Balaji.
I am honored to receive this prestigious award from Penn State. I would like to thank the Dean and the Neurology faculty of Penn State College of Medicine for this nomination. It took a village to get me to where I am today. I'm indebted to my teachers, parents, and especially my sister, who was the first person to support me in my decision to become a doctor. I grew up in India hearing that the United States is a land of opportunity. I came to the United States in 2012 looking for a platform to prove myself. Penn State Health gave me that chance. I thank my program director, Dr. Loudon, and the chairperson, Dr. Good, for trusting me and for taking me as their resident. They helped me explore my full potential. Penn State not only trained me to be a good neurologist, but it also nurtured me to be a leader in neurology. I never dreamt of receiving this award because as an international medical grad student, I thought the biggest accomplishment was to just get into a residency program. This award made me believe in myself more and gave me the confidence to set higher goals for my career. I hope to make Penn State proud as I embark on future endeavors as a leader in the neurology community. Finally, thank you to my wife, Jenny, and my kids, Maya and Luca, for their unrelenting support. And I know you are watching me from above. As always, this is for you, Dad. We are.
Our next honoree is Cena Mamari. He graduated from the Eberly College of Science with a degree in biology before going to Drexel College of Medicine. Cena is now the chief resident in the Department of Emergency at John H. Stroger Hospital of Cook County. Cook County is located near some of the most dangerous neighborhoods in Chicago, and the hospital treats an average of 45 to 50 trauma patients per day, many of whom are gunshot victims. It is one of the busiest emergency departments in the country. In fact, given the skill level of the hospital's trauma unit, it's one of only 2 in the country to be selected by the U.S. Department of Defense to train medical personnel for war. As a nominator noted, at Cook County Hospital, we know Cena sees some of the worst human nature as well as some of the best. This aligns directly with his altruistic and compassionate nature and speaks to his passion for helping those in need. Cena has said that the greatest part of my job is taking care of patients that all other hospitals have turned away. Cena made a tremendous impact at Penn State as a student, and his contributions to the larger Penn State community did not end at graduation. He continues to meet with Penn State students to share firsthand perspectives and advice. Congratulations, Cena.
Thank you. I'm honored to be selected for this award. As a native of State College, or Townie as we were called, Penn State was always just in the background of my upbringing. I could hear the marching band practice from my neighborhood. We'd drive by the giant houses with the strange Greek letters on my way to elementary school. And we'd sit in traffic on weekends watching hordes of blue and white head towards the stadium. And with my parents as professors, I thought, as all children naturally do, if mom and dad are into it, then it must be boring. Turns out I was incredibly wrong. Over time, Penn State became something from just the background to one of the most significant aspects of my life. I remember asking other freshmen in awe, "You applied to other schools?" To this day, even here in the Midwest, I refer to it as state, with the assumption that everyone knows which state school I'm referring to. For me, aside from the amazing education and extracurricular opportunities I had at Penn State, I learned how to become an adult and generally a good person. Penn State gave me the tools to not only become a successful physician, but a scholar, a leader, and taught me humility. I want to thank my parents for their everlasting support, Dr. Ronald Markle, my Penn State pre-med advisor and friend, Dr. Mike Schindelbeck, my residency program director and mentor, and the Penn State community. Thank you, and we are.
Now we turn to Robert Muchellera. He has been described as a bridge that helps American companies who wish to expand in the African markets because he has feet in both worlds. Robert was born, raised, and earned his undergraduate degree in Zimbabwe. He then came to the School of International Affairs at Penn State to earn his master's degree. This led to a job at Caterpillar, where he is currently the strategy manager for Southern Africa. According to his nominators, he has a deep understanding of business and government, along with the skills, temperament, and fire in the belly to succeed no matter the obstacles. Rob embodies what a school like the School of International Affairs can do. He is a man who had only left his country twice in his life and traveled across the ocean to go to school. He crossed back across the ocean a few years later with the knowledge, network, and resources to become a major success and a leader at one of the most recognizable companies in the world. Congratulations, Robert.
Thank you, and what a pleasure and honor it is to be nominated and recognized for this prestigious award. There's an old African proverb that says, "I am because we are," which some of you here might be familiar with. This timeless proverb speaks to our collective humanity. And I'm here because those who came before me dared to dream, dared to sacrifice, and ultimately dared to act. Thank you to Penn State, the Penn State Alumni Association, Penn State Law, and the School of International Affairs. We've been very generous with this nomination. Thank you to the entire SIA community, the faculty, fellow students, support staff, who nurtured my dream and gave me an opportunity to hop on a plane from my little town in Zimbabwe and contribute in my small way to this prestigious institution in State College. I'm the beneficiary of so many people making tremendous personal sacrifices, going above and beyond to support me throughout my journey at SIA, my wonderful parents, my family, and my friend. My first boss after graduating was a Penn State alumni. And let me say, I was very fortunate to connect and work with him in Washington, DC, and also work with other amazing leaders and teams who are passionate about infrastructure development around the world, particularly in Africa, where I live and work now. These colleagues for me are the doers, they act. I've often heard our leaders say the road to progress begins with the road, period. And I've seen firsthand our communities grow and develop with sustained infrastructure build out. What an honor it has been. And I look forward to continuing the Penn State legacy here in Africa. Thanks again. We are.
From the heights of Nittany Mountain where our legend has begun, we'll shout the highest praises of the victories we have won. From 1855, our greatest state
For those hoping to eventually retire and collect Social Security, you will be counting on our next nominee, Jeremy Omard. Jeremy is the managing consultant and operations lead for IBM. He's responsible for ensuring all web application services of the Social Security Administration are properly maintained, configured, and readily available. He also leads the Disaster Readiness Project to safeguard all infrastructure related to the security of the web applications. Jeremy is also involved in another type of national security. Since his freshman year in the Management Information Systems program at Penn State Barron, he has been a volunteer in the Maryland Defense Force, a uniformed military agency established by the state of Maryland to provide professional, technical, and military support to the state's National Guard and Emergency Management Agency. One nominator wonders how he keeps up with the work-life balance, but he has demonstrated promise, persistence, and excellence throughout his career and to his community. Congratulations, Jeremy.
Winston Churchill once said, "You make a living by what you get, you make a life by what you give." This is a motto that I hold near and dear to my heart, and is why I continue to volunteer at the end of the day. Over the years, I've supported many philanthropic endeavors and worked with countless organizations, but the sense of pride that I get from serving alongside my fellow Nittany Lions is unfathomable. You can literally go anywhere in the world and run into another Penn Stater. Seriously. In 2018, when I deployed to the Philippines as part of the IBM Corporate Service Corps, I decided to watch the Ohio State versus Penn State game. Given the 12-hour difference, I had to watch this game during the meeting. Now, while I was shocked at the end result of the game, one thing that caught my attention was halfway across the same boardroom, another person was looking at their phone, and she was in utter disbelief. We struck up a quick conversation, and that day I found that not only was one of my coworkers a graduate of the Pennsylvania State University, we both graduated in 2013. Small world. Penn State has afforded me with a world-class education, lifelong friends, and the opportunity to make a difference in the life of others. So it's only right that I continue to pay it forward and do my part so that prospective students, current students, alumni, and friends of Penn State can enjoy the same privileges that were bestowed upon me. Thank you for the award, and we are
From Lincoln Logs, the Lego blocks, to his first toolbox and working with his grandfather in his class shop, our next honoree has always loved building things. Carson Parr found his way to the College of Arts and Architecture, where he earned his bachelor's and master's degrees. During his time at Penn State, he also found another home, RLPS Architects in Lancaster. He felt that the firm had the sincerity of people, quality of work, and culture that was right for him. He is now a partner and architect at RLPS. Carson has distinguished himself with his passion, enthusiasm, commitment, and motivation. He has managed many of the firm's multi-million-dollar housing projects for the elderly while coordinating multidisciplinary teams and guiding initiatives from planning to occupancy. And he still finds time to stay connected to his alma mater. Congratulations, Carson.
Penn State, the Alumni Association, thank you. I am so humbled by this recognition. My mentor, Greg Scott, from the day he recruited me, instilled in me his mantra, it's all about people. Every step of the way, I've had a tremendous amount of support and love enabling me to reach towards my goals and dreams. I still remember my first visit to Penn State. My mom and I parked in front of Old Main and walked up the quad. I wasn't on campus for more than 2 minutes before I knew I was home. Penn State has the best people. Professors James Cosbeek, Scott Wing, Craig Zabel, Uta Porshka, Darla Lindbergh, and the late Jawed Haider. Thank you for shaping my education. The club soccer team where I met my wife, Thon, and everyone who's lived in 309. Thank you for encouraging me to maintain a work-life balance. My partners and everyone at RLPS Architects. Thank you for making every day at work inspiring and fun. My Pap and Aunt Susie, Thank you for igniting the passion in me in construction since I was young. My parents, my brothers, Andy and Dan, my entire family, thank you for your unwavering support. Lastly, my wife, Jo, I love you. Thank you for always pushing me to be better. You make me better. It's all about people, and I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the wonderful people around me. I am so grateful for you. Thank you. We are.
Now I'm pleased to introduce Titi Leo Chaudia, a 2010 graduate with a degree in material science and engineering. Titi is an established scientist with an excellent record of discovery and innovation, which can be found in esteemed journals like the Journal of American Chemical Society. In addition, she is the founder and CEO of Project YES, Youth in Engineering and Sciences, an organization that increases students' awareness of career opportunities and their confidence in scientific environments. Titi is also the host of the wildly popular podcast Dope Labs, which is about the intersection of science and pop culture. Her goal is to bring out the scientist in everybody. The constant thread in Titi's career has been outreach and mentoring, especially for women and underrepresented populations in STEM. As her nominator said, I know Titi's impact up until this point is only the tip of the iceberg. She will surely continue to engage and inspire more people as her career in science communication grows. Congratulations, Titi.
Thank you so much to the Penn State Alumni Association for this honor. I'm truly humbled to be recognized in this way. First and foremost, I want to thank my parents, the greatest teachers in my life. I want to thank my sisters, Tayo and Toyin, my very best friends. I want to thank my niece and nephews, Skylar and Sebastian, for always being a constant source of inspiration for me. I want to thank my husband, James, for always listening to all of my crazy ideas and encouraging me and being the battery in my back to go and push and chase my dreams. I want to thank my partner in all things creative, Zakiya Watley. And I also want to talk about why I chose Penn State in the first place. So one of the reasons why I chose Penn State was because I went to a really small high school. My graduating class was only 40 people. So I wanted to get out and go to a really large university and also go to one of the best schools in the world. So naturally, I ended up at Penn State. But I also experienced the other side of that coin, which is sometimes feeling a little bit overwhelmed with the class sizes and all the people. But then I found really, really great community with the Material Science and Engineering Department. And I can't mention the Material Science and Engineering Department without talking about my academic advisor, Dr. Alan Kimmel. He provided me with all the resources I needed to be successful. And one of those major resources was somebody just simply believing that I could be successful. So I have to thank him for all of his encouragement over the years and for constantly being a source of encouragement and love and dedication to academia. So with that, I just want to thank the Penn State Alumni Association again, and we are.
When we consider how to solve the world's most pressing problems, we're in the world of our next honoree. Brianna Smith has focused her career on responding to the global HIV/AIDS epidemic and on marshaling U.S. government resources to provide humanitarian and medical assistance across Africa. Since 2016, she has served as the Africa Regional HIV/AIDS Advisor for the U.S. Agency for International Development. Among her many achievements in this role, she oversaw the implementation of the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief. A spirit of compassion and social justice has infused her life. She served for 2 years as a Peace Corps resource teacher in early childhood care and development, and her humanitarian efforts have had an incredible impact on vulnerable populations. One of her colleagues said, "She is truly among the best and the brightest, and always with grace, humor, and calm under pressure." Brianna earned 2 degrees from Penn State, a Bachelor in Science and Psychology and a Master of International Affairs. Congratulations.
I was truly surprised to have been chosen for this award and feel honored to be included among the amazing and distinguished professionals receiving awards this year. One of the things I loved most about my education at the School of International Affairs was the fact that half of our student body was made up of classmates from all over the world. This brought such unique perspectives and a wide range of interests and experience to our classroom. Exchanging ideas with this group helped prepare me for the diversity of people and experiences I've encountered in my career to date. Over the last decade working on international HIV programs, I found myself at a refugee camp in Botswana talking with doctors providing care, at a conference in Durban, South Africa, chatting with anti-circumcision civil society advocates, meeting with an advance team to prep for an event with Secretary Clinton, at the United Nations negotiating resolution language, and in Uganda delivering remarks to a room full of Ministry of Health tuberculosis experts. Now, I have the privilege of working at the U.S. Agency for International Development, whose mission includes advancing a free, peaceful, and prosperous world, saving lives, reducing poverty, and helping people emerge from humanitarian crises. My colleagues and I wrestle each day with how to solve the big problems of the world, serve those most in need, and strive for more perfect solutions. My Penn State undergraduate and master's degrees laid the foundation for and jump-started my career through research opportunities, studies abroad, and an internship, launching me into these amazing opportunities and experiences I never would have imagined. Penn State also brought me to my husband, who I met as an undergraduate and who I have to also thank today for being the kind of partner who agrees to quit his job and move to Botswana to advance my career. Thank you to my parents for showering me with a lifetime of love and support. And finally, thank you, Dean Osofsky, President Barron, the award, Ambassador Jett, Tanika Cunning, and all the SIA staff and faculty, past and present, for their mentorship, guidance, and advice. We are.
Our next honoree is Lindsay Sudell, who earned her degree in kinesiology in 2007. Driven by a strong desire to help people live healthier lives, Lindsay began her entrepreneurial journey as a personal trainer. She then earned her master's degree in occupational therapy and practiced in a hospital for 7 years. But Lindsay is an entrepreneur at heart. So when she discovered that facial stretch therapy, called FST, helped reduce pain and improve flexibility for everyday activities and athletic performance, she opened Simply Stretch LA. There she has seen a who's who list of clients, including Alex Rodriguez, Drake, and other pro athletes and celebrities. Lindsay has been praised for her motivation, creative thinking, problem-solving skills, and ability to easily build rapport. She's an inspiration and well-deserving of this honor. Congratulations, Lindsay.
First and foremost, thank you to the Alumni Association, President Barron, Dean Newshafer, and the entire College of Health and Human Development. I am beyond humbled and absolutely honored to have even been nominated for this award, let alone to be standing amongst some of the most influential people of the best university in the world. I always knew I wanted to be a Penn Stater. Penn State was ingrained in my blood from a young age. My mom was a Penn State graduate, and being that my mom was the most influential person in my life, I naturally just wanted to be just like her and follow in her footsteps. Penn State was my first real look of the world outside of my small farm town of Wyalusing, Pennsylvania. And my experiences there opened up so many doors for me, my life, my career, and my future. Two of the most influential experiences that I endured while at Penn State are dancing at Thon and studying abroad. Penn State's Dance Marathon, also known as Thon, is the largest student-run philanthropy in the world and raises money for pediatric cancer research and pediatric cancer patients. In 2005, over 700 of us stood on our feet, unable to sit, lie down, or sleep for 48 hours, all for the kids, and raised over $4.1 million for the Four Diamonds Foundation. This experience taught me that I can achieve anything I set my mind to, that no matter how hard something gets, I can get through it if I set my mind and my heart to it. It also taught me the power of collective effort and what a large impact a community can have if they set a goal and work together. To say that I've used those life lessons a time or two in my entrepreneurial endeavors is significantly an understatement. Studying abroad was an opportunity that I took advantage of that I will never forget and that shaped my life forever. Spending 6 months living and studying abroad in Sydney, Australia helped me ultimately discover myself as a person and motivated me to move out west where I live today in Southern California. To my husband, Steve, you continue to push me to be better every day. I could not have done this without you. To my mom, my dad, my brother, Brandon, thank you for your never-ending love, support, and guidance. To my in-laws, Mary, Jean, Steve, and Kelly, you inspire me to be the best version of myself every day. And last but not least, my dearest professor, Lori Gravish. Thank you for always keeping in touch. The way that you love your students and have a genuine interest in their careers both while at university and for years after is truly unparalleled. I will never forget on the second day of class, you were able to recall over 50 students' full names and the names of each of their hometowns. I remember immediately thinking, wow, this woman is really special and is someone that is going to have a huge impact on my life. So for that, I am eternally grateful. Thank you. My sincerest congratulations to my fellow recipients for this prestigious award. You are all very inspiring and you are influential people that are changing the world and making it a better place. So in closing, without further ado, we are.
Our final Alumni Achievement Award honoree of this evening is Emily Zhang, who is a rising star in the finance industry. Emily earned undergraduate degrees in finance and economics, minors in Chinese and international business, and she was a Schreier Scholar and the president of the Nittany Lion Fund, which is an 11 million investor-owned, student-managed hedge fund. She began her career at Goldman Sachs, and after 3 years went to San Francisco to work on high-tech venture capital deals at SoftBank. She was then recruited to Brookfield Growth Partners and their Vision Fund, which is one of the largest and most successful venture capital funds in the U.S. In other words, she has been a little busy, but not too busy to give back to Penn State through her philanthropy and service, which led to her election of the board of directors of the Nittany Lion Fund in 2019. Emily's nominators attribute her success to her knowledge of complex end markets, outstanding interpersonal skills, and her dedication to her friends, her community at Penn State, and her family. Congratulations, Emily.
It's truly such an honor to receive this prestigious award, especially alongside such an inspiring group. I wasn't expecting it, and I'm truly flattered by the kind words of my nominators and my recommenders. I would like to thank the Penn State Alumni Association, Dean Whiteman, Jen Crispel, the Smeal College of Business, Professor Warridge, Jeff Guido, Jim Brandow, and Judah Siegel, all of whom have served as my mentors, my role models, and my friends. I certainly did not do all of this by myself. While I was at Penn State, I was fortunate to find my place in many different student organizations. The breadth of experiences, ranging from study abroad, to Schreier, to Thon, and to Alpha Kappa Psi, pushed me outside of my comfort zone, enabled me to forge many deep and lasting friendships, and shaped who I am today. The most important organization that led me to and shaped my career in finance is the Nittany Lion Fund. The hands-on, real-world experiences that I gained through the fund challenged me early, starting as a freshman and often. It instilled in me a belief that I could rise to any occasion and has rewarded me with one of the most important experiences of my career. Even more importantly, I learned the power of the Penn State network through finding people who believed in me and paid for the mentorship, time, and effort that was invested in them when they were students. I still carry my gratitude for that network with me and can only hope that I can give back to many more students as time goes on. And finally, I would like to thank my parents, who instilled in me a sense of curiosity and endless drive to succeed. Being a state college local, Penn State has always been a family affair. And I'm excited to say that it continues to deepen for us, as my second brother has been accepted as well. Thank you again for such a tremendous honor. We are.
On behalf of Penn State, thank you all for your many contributions. You're an inspiration and a credit to Penn State. It gives me great pride to know that you have put your education to work in ways that have helped make a genuine difference in people's lives and have had a positive impact on the world. Before we conclude, Paul would like to say a few words.
Thank you, President Barron. What an inspirational group of honorees. This university brings us together in so many ways to celebrate. And tonight we applaud our young alumni for their contributions to their professions and the impact they have on the world. With one voice, we say congratulations to the honorees for answering the call of our alma mater. Your accomplishments are numerous, impressive, and have brought glory to Penn State. You are all shining examples that Penn State alumni can achieve great accomplishments at an early age and inspire our students not only to dream, but to also dream big. Again, on behalf of the Penn State Alumni Association, thank you for joining us this evening and for your support. Please join me as we welcome 12 seniors from Penn State's School of Music Theater. They'll close out the night for us as we raise the song to Dear Old State. Thank you for all you do for the university, for the glory, and for the future. We are!
For the glory of Old State, for her founder strong and great, for the future that we wait, raise the song, raise the song. Sing our love and loyalty, sing our hopes that bright and free. Rest, O Mother dear, with thee, all with thee, all with thee. When we stood at childhood's gate, shapeless in the hands of fate, thou didst mold us, dear old state, dear old state, dear old state. May no act of ours bring shame to one heart that loves thy name. May our lives but swell thy fame, dear old state, dear